Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the least known types of traditional architecture in China. These are homes that people don't build up from the ground, but instead dig down into the earth. They're called cave houses, or in Chinese, yaodong. If you've never seen one before, you might be imagining dark, damp caves where people lived thousands of years ago. But these aren't just ancient shelters. In fact, these cave houses have some advantages that modern homes can't match. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is a yaodong? A yaodong is a type of earth-sheltered home that's carved directly into the side of a hill or dug down into flat ground. Instead of adding materials to build a house, people use a subtraction method. They remove earth to create living space. This makes them one of the most eco-friendly building types ever invented. These cave houses are mainly found in northern and central China. The reason they're found in these specific areas has everything to do with the local geography and climate. The most important factor is the soil. All these regions have thick layers of low soil, a special type of yellow earth that's very fine and compact. What makes Laos perfect for cave houses is that it stands up straight when you cut into it. It doesn't collapse easily, which means you can dig deep into it without the walls falling down. The climate is another big reason. Most of these areas have extreme weather, very hot summers and very cold winters. The thick layer of earth around the cave house acts like natural insulation. It keeps the inside cool in summer and warm in winter. In fact, the temperature inside a cave house stays between 10 and 22 degrees Celsius all year round. That's like having a natural air conditioner and heater that never needs electricity. Now, you might be wondering how old these cave houses are. The idea of living in caves goes back to the very beginning of human history, but the yaodong as we know it today has a history of about 4,500 years. In ancient times, Chinese people lived in simple holes in the ground. By the Zhou dynasty, about 3,000 years ago, these had developed into semi-underground homes. The ancient Chinese poem collection, the Book of Songs, even mentions these early cave houses. By the Qin and Han dynasties, around 2,200 years ago, people were building fully underground cave houses that looked much like the ones we see today. The technique continued to improve over the centuries. In the middle of the Ming dynasty, about 500 years ago, people started using stone to reinforce the walls and entrances. The art of building cave houses reached its peak in the late Ming and early Church dynasties, about 300 to 400 years ago. At that time, skilled builders were creating complex cave systems with multiple rooms, courtyards, and even small castles. In 2011, the traditional craft of building cave houses in northern Shanxi was added to China's national list of intangible cultural heritage. This means that the government is working to protect this ancient building technique and pass it on to future generations. Today, cave houses are considered one of China's 5 great traditional residential styles, along with the Beijing Courtyard House, the Tulou, the Guangxi Stilt House, and the Mongolian Yurt. They're often called the living fossils of earth architecture and the peak of eco-friendly building in Chinese farming civilization. Now let's look at the 3 main types of cave houses. Each type was developed to suit different terrain conditions. The first and most common type is the cliffside cave house. As the name suggests, these are carved directly into the side of a natural cliff or hillside. To build a cliffside cave house, workers dig horizontally into the loose cliff. A typical cave is about 3 to 4 meters wide, 3 meters high, and can be up to 10 meters deep. The top is always curved into an arch shape. This arch is very important because it spreads the weight of the earth above evenly, making the cave strong and less likely to collapse. This arch design is actually very similar to the arch used in European Gothic cathedrals. Both use the same engineering principle to create strong, large spaces without needing supporting columns inside. We'll talk more about the Gothic architecture in a future video. Cliffside cave houses are usually built in lines following the shape of the hill. Some cliffside cave houses have brick or stone arches built inside to make them even stronger. Others have brick walls built at the entrance to protect the cliff face from erosion. Larger cave complexes might have regular houses built in front of the caves, creating a courtyard. The second type of cave house is the sunken courtyard cave house. This type is used in flat areas where there are no natural cliffs to dig into. To build a sunken courtyard cave house, people first dig a large square or rectangular pit straight down into the ground. This pit is usually about 6 to 7 meters deep. The walls of this pit become the artificial cliff faces where the caves are then dug. Each side of the pit has several caves dug into it. The main cave is usually on the north side, facing south to get the most sunlight. The east and west sides have smaller caves for bedrooms, kitchens, and storage. The south side often has the entrance ramp and maybe some storage caves. People enter the sunken courtyard through a sloped ramp or a set of stairs that goes down from the ground level. Some courtyards have both a ramp and stairs side by side. One of the most amazing things about sunken courtyard cave houses is that from the ground level, you can't see them at all. You might be walking across a field and suddenly realize there's an entire village under your feet. Another interesting feature is that the land on top of the caves is still used for farming. People grow crops right above their homes. This is a very efficient use of land, especially in areas where farmland is scarce. Of course, living underground creates some challenges, especially with water. If it rains, the courtyard could fill up with water. To solve this problem, people dig a deep well in the middle of the courtyard called a seepage well. Rainwater flows into this well and slowly seeps into the ground. They also dig drainage tunnels that carry excess water away from the courtyard. For the caves to be strong and have good insulation, there needs to be at least 3 meters of earth above them. This thick layer of earth is what keeps the temperature inside so stable. The third type of cave house is the independent cave house. This type is different from the other two because it's not dug into a cliff or the ground. Instead, it's built above ground using bricks, stones, or sun-dried mud bricks. To build an independent cave house, workers first make a strong arch shape using bricks or stones. Then they cover this arch with a thick layer of earth. Independent cave houses can be 1 or 2 stories high. They're usually arranged in a courtyard layout, just like regular above-ground houses. This type of cave house was a big step forward in building technology because it meant people could have cave-style homes anywhere, not just in areas with cliffs or flat, loess land. Now let's take a look inside a traditional cave house and see how people live there. The inside of a cave house is arranged in a very practical way. One of the biggest problems with cave houses is that they don't have good natural ventilation. Air doesn't circulate very well deep inside the cave. Because of this, the most important rooms are always near the entrance where the air is freshest. The kitchen and the main living area are always at the front of the cave. The back of the cave is used for storage. This arrangement isn't just for comfort, it's also for safety. The kitchen has a stove that produces smoke. If the stove was at the back of the cave, the smoke wouldn't be able to escape easily. This could cause carbon monoxide poisoning, which is very dangerous. By putting the stove near the entrance, the smoke can go out the door and windows quickly. The center of life in a traditional cave house is the kang, a large brick bed that's heated from below. The kang is connected to the kitchen stove. When people cook, the hot smoke from the stove passes through channels under the kang, heating it up. This is a very efficient way to use energy. The same fire that cooks your food also heats your bed. In winter, the kang stays warm all day and night. The whole family sits on the kang to eat, work, and relax. Old people sit on the kang to do sewing or watch the children. Women spin thread, weave cloth, and make shoes on the kang. At night, everyone sleeps on the kang. Traditional cave houses usually have 1 door and 2 windows. The door and windows are often decorated with beautiful wooden carvings. The windows have paper or glass panes that let in light. The high position of the windows allows sunlight to reach deep into the cave during the winter, which helps to warm the inside. The history of cave houses is closely tied to the history of the people who live in them. The Loess Plateau has always been a difficult place to live. It's dry, the soil is poor, and there are frequent natural disasters like droughts and floods. Throughout history, the people here have faced many hardships, but the cave house has always been their shelter. It protected them from the extreme weather, from poverty, and from war.